go. So yeah, I'll just find Stuart's question because he wants me to go over daily bias. Working out daily bias, also imbalances. So for my daily biases, I'll do it on EU because I don't know what that is. There's multiple sort of things that I'm looking at for my daily bias. I wish it was just one simple thing. I'll just delete idle that. So one of the tools I use for my daily bias is I have no idea what ticks is, mate. I don't know why it's on that menu. I've never seen it before. But for my daily bias, mate, is so from here, if we included this low here, this high of this close on this candle here, I would have been down looking for down days up until this candle broke above this one here. So as long as it closes above it, that's one confirmation. So obviously at the minute it's in up days. So tomorrow's candle will start and I'll be looking for possible longs until price closes below this candle and then continue that day by day as it goes on. That's one confirmation. Another one is structure. So we've got a couple of structures going on here, but as a quick one, we've possibly got something like that coming up. That's one structure. We've also got which is probably my 4-hour structure. I'll change the colour of that so it can be seen better. Close that. And then if we drop the time frame, there'll be other structures going on. But at the minute, we've got highs going higher. So I would imagine we're pretty much just looking for full days. This is possibly broken below a structure here, although I'm not convinced. It's more of a bit of a sideways action than a pullback. But if it had broken below this, I would have said possibly, definitely this. So for now, I'm long on EU, and then obviously would get even lower if we was looking at if we started breaking below things like this, and this, then lower time frames. And also, the final one is the Asia range. I'll use the Asia range to determine whether I think for the day it's going to be long or short as well. So on this one here, when I was up Friday morning, replay. So I was, say from there, I was originally at this point here, I was originally thinking about a midline retest and then a continue long, which is what actually played out nice and cleanly. But because I'll just play a couple of candles, because it wicked the Asia high, did a 1 minute shift, little mini break under here, so it swept the Asia high, all this liquidity along here as well on the Asia, and it's the Asian high. There's to the left there is an imbalance filling this. You'll just have to take the word for it. I'm not gonna have a look, but there's like I think there would have been like a 15-second imbalance fill, nice little candle setup. So an imbalance fill, taken that, Asia high swept, and then what actually convinced me about taking the sell as well was these equal lows just here at the pretty much at the bottom of the Asia low, and I thought it might sweep them and possibly into this BPR fill here. So obviously this is the start of a push move, so I thought it might come down into something like that. It made perfect sense, but like I say, originally I was looking at this midline test. You'll have to look on the Asia session education that Reb's done online on the TFT website. I can't quote it definitely because I can't remember, but he does. I'm sure he does a bit on if the Asia session is bullish. So obviously we've got that from the Asia session. It's pretty much just bullish. And then if it continues out of the range, you often get a midline retest. If it's bearish, obviously it's the midline retest again. But if it's a bit consolidated, it often sweeps the low and then the high, or the high and then the low. But as it was to be, it was the midline retest was the better trade. So obviously it fills these two imbalances, imbalance BPR, breaks the 1 minute shift, which is up here. There's your shift above here, there. And then it comes down to this imbalance fill down here, which was that imbalance fill just under these little candles here, bit of liquidity. And then it goes up and does its buying up. So I should have just stuck with the initial gut. But I mean, this one reached a 1 to 6, I think, anyway. Oh, 1 to 10, isn't it? No, yeah, 1 to 6, I think it was in the end. Yeah, 1 to 6, and then this one went quite far. So I'd have targeted this imbalance as a first. I think if I'd have taken it, imbalance fill just about there. Just change the time frame. Let that play on.
Put my audio.
And you've got equalize up here, imbalance fill here, BPR, and a lot of imbalance up here to fill. So yeah, the buy was definitely the right one on the Friday, but the sell looks too clean to not consider as well. So that was that. And that's obviously the
Any kind of volume thing down here.
So I'm actually going to mute you a sec. unless you was asking questions, mate. Yeah, so that's my daily biases and what happened with Friday. I'll just read out the second part. So it was imbalances, and then Stuart's question again. He was speaking about Bitcoin. Something was banned. Bitcoin and imbalances. So I think he was looking at this zone today that he posted. So yeah, replay. So I think he sent the message about here. So delete that. So you've got an imbalance here. So I'll move it further back. So yellow's my imbalance candle boxes. So we've got for the wick here, big push. It breaks a couple of mini structures or whatever, but he wants me to look at the imbalances. So as we drop to the 1 minute, we've got, can easily split that into two. So you've maybe got that as an imbalance, that as an imbalance. And I don't recommend it to everybody, but part of his questions was to the seconds time frame to break things down for him. He uses the lower time frames himself anyway, so it's not a worry that Stuart asked a question. It's what he wants me to look at. So not much better on 30, maybe even worse. So now I'd pretty much say that that's not imbalance there. You see how these candles overlay? That's not imbalance. Not too pleased with this. You got wicks. It's not a big impulsive push. But this one, on the other hand, possibly. So I'll draw with that. So we've got imbalance there. Delete that one. I'll be comfortable not to take that. I'll drop down to a 10, see if it makes it any better. So maybe this, not really big enough. It's not. It's possibly imbalanced, but I don't feel it's big enough for me to worry about as such. All these candles are a bit crappy on the 10. So if I was looking for a sell from this area, I'd be definitely looking at that there. I don't think it actually reaches the zone, to be honest, so it does miss it, but I'll get onto that in a minute. But if you guys can see, if you look at this candle here, look at the size of that one compared to anything else in this row. There's nothing of the same size, so that would be my favorite area. Obviously, it fills half of it pretty much straight away, and we won't be taking cells from lower down because we're looking for the highest one to be filled for our entry. So if I was to pick a zone, it'd be from here. If it's the right one, it'd have no business going above this sort of green line, but do it plus spreads. You'd maybe include this here to be safe. I might be wrong. Can't remember where it was, but
if you was going to put a lot size on that, how many lots do you reckon you'd put?
good question, mate.
So the way I work out, you see the 36.44.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
So say if you have one lot,
yeah,
you're risking $36.44
right. Yeah.
on that. So I guess yeah, because obviously I know that obviously you do it like obviously like 1/4% and stuff, don't you? So like quarter, maybe
Yeah,
half.
generally 0.5%. So
Yeah.
it's I did write me figures into this all before, but then it
But
was
all you got to do is obviously just 0.5% divided by 36.44, I
yeah,
guess, and
yeah,
that should obviously tell you how many lots on, I guess.
yeah. Well, what I mean, I use 5%ers, mate. So
Yeah.
I've got on a self-funded, so and they're both on MT5, so I can put the lines on because I normally set pendings
You
anyway.
put the
So
lines on and it tells you everything
it tells
anyway,
me the
doesn't it?
value of what I'm putting on.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
easy, and then I adjust the lots to adjust to what I'm sort of thinking. So I mean it's not, it doesn't hit, but it was the right imbalance at least, So
How is the self-funded with the fivers?
it going all right, mate. And to be honest, mate, I haven't really traded much lately. I've been for like the last 2 months, I've been really busy because we've got little in the house and she's getting the older she's
But
getting.
are they generally quite good for self-funded, do you think?
No,
Like,
sorry,
in
no,
your
sorry.
opinion?
The 5%ers, mate, is a funded account.
Oh, that's your funded, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then I've got a self-funded with IC Markets.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I can't complain against 5%ers, mate. The spreads are just ridiculous.
Not
So
good.
yeah, really ridiculous. Sorry, just while that's doing its thing, I'm gonna leave that to play. I don't know what it's done now. One of the other reasons why I would consider that zone as well is these imbalances above don't do anything, whereas this, if I extend that box, say left, if I extend that left, this order block here that I marked on the lowers is the direct, because obviously this is the imbalance candle here. This is the direct cause of this breaker structure here as well. So I think what the order block and imbalance achieves is also important, which is why I had a maybe. I mean, it might come and sell off from up here at a later date if regarding all of Stuart's other confirmations, but for this one directly causing it, you can often get a quick entry before it continues to break lower structures, like down here if you was looking at that as your 1 minute structure break, which I would say it is, to be fair. But yeah, obviously it don't quite touch it, but it's pretty damn close. So maybe it could have been a bit not as tight, but that sort of leads me on to the next point as well, is whenever I mark anything, I'm always aware that whatever time frame you look at, if you're on any time frame apart from maybe say like the 5 second and down, there's always going to be what I call slop in the candles. So I'll just turn my extend right off. So if we say that this is a, sorry, fail me. What do I mean? So if we say this is a, say a 15-minute candle, so we've got obviously the body at close, body open, wicks. When we're looking for imbalances, now it's going to get tricky here for me a little bit, but let's say this is that's the body open because it's a green candle. Do the whole, is the whole thing green? Yeah, green. Yes, that's a buy candle. So like if we was looking for an imbalance in this candle, there's potential that this candle has try again. See how I want to do this. Yeah, this candle effectively, if these were say minutes, it could have almost consolidated for 4 or 5 minutes, pushed down, big push up here, retraced a bit of a big push up again, and then obviously come back down to the body close. I'll just draw them lines on it so you can sort of see. So the point I'm trying to get at is if there's always possible slop in the candles, is this might look like a big 15-minute candle that's imbalanced, but if you drop down to the 1, it might show you that there was consolidation for the first sort of 5 minutes that you won't see in the 15-minute candle. And then, but there's possibly imbalance there that you could maybe be, if you were looking for entries, obviously, sorry, this is about entries and things, you would then go if you drop to the minute, you might find the imbalance on the 1 minute. So going off, you can do that with every single candle time frame as you go down up until you start getting to the, like I say, the 15, 10, and 5. So when with that candle just missing the possible entry, it could be because on the 10, 15 second, there's a little bit of this going on. It might only be seconds, but it might be balanced for the certain part, which is why it's quite not made the zone properly. So if you're getting down super low, I would always recommend just giving yourself that extra little bit just to allow for that sort of thing happening. And then, well, that's about it really. Just give yourself a little bit just to allow for price action that you haven't seen because you're only viewing it on that said time frame, and it could be clear on lower time frames. But yeah, that was the imbalances on there. I can look at a few more if everyone really wants me to, but obviously as you break down, a lot of these imbalances disappear. So if we go back to the 5 minute, which is what he sent in, so we got rid of that one as well. So we've actually gone from the imbalance that was this to there. Yeah, originally we're looking for an entry in this imbalance, but we've got down to this little bit of the imbalance section here because all this was showing us balanced price range. There was no real nice candles above it. So, but that's basically what I'm doing when I'm looking for lower time frame imbalance candles. Did that make sense to everybody? Do you want me to find more, look at more examples?
Kind of, but no.
Not a problem, mate. What I'll do is I'll look at this, a couple of imbalances from obviously the Friday thing I was looking at, and we'll look at a few more.
I know obviously there's a few people probably quite advanced into this technique already.
Yeah.
Into strategy already. But yeah, I think what I'm starting to try and do now is just basically just mark up the 4-hour POIs.
Yeah.
Because I know you said there's certain ones that are good and ones to avoid. I can't remember what was it you said. For good ones, like as though if it's got like a big wick or something like that, as where it's created like a structure change or something. Was that what it was?
I can't remember, mate. I think we was talking about GBP CAD the other day, weren't we? So let's have a look. It is higher time frame POIs you wanted, mate? Sorry.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, obviously, I'm finding them. Obviously, that I had GU recently, which is what I posted.
Yeah.
And obviously, it went through one of the zones, which is is going to happen. But
yeah,
was that 4-hour POI that I marked up that it went through? Would that have not been a very good POI? Is that why it's gone through it? I'm not too sure.
They only set me. So, did you had this going through your zone, didn't you?
It was GU.
Oh, GU. Sorry, man.
GU. I think I put a picture in the thingy.
Yeah.
Into the group recently. Yeah, but I think it was that lot.
You've got this one here, haven't you? That wicks through it.
Yeah, and there was it might have been that one.
I think it was actually, mate. Come to think about it.
I've got two.
So I think you had this zone here marked, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just. I can go on and have a quick look actually. Let's have a look. It was around July 2023, between July and September 2023, basically.
Oh, so it's not changing. June.
So it might have been.
No, it must have been there, mate. There's a note there for miles. Must have been that April. April
No,
19th.
no, it's 2023. I suppose I
Oh,
can't go on
sorry,
it.
you on about the? Oh, let me have a
The
quick look,
the
mate.
picture that I put in, and then and it just wicks straight through.
Oh yeah, July. So it'll be like August time-ish, won't it?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah,
August.
it's just
August.
obviously just trying to identify like a decent POI, I guess.
Yeah, August. That's 22.
There we go. That area
Oh
there.
yeah, so sorry, that's my. So you've had one of these as your POI. Is that right?
So I had one, which is, you see where your green, that's it, that box there.
Yeah,
I reckon that was my other POI that
yeah.
it's
That was
that it
gone
recently
white.
wicks through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah. So there's nothing. It's an okay looking POI, mate. The only
Okay.
the biggest thing I would say, mate, is you've directly got this imbalance here above it.
Okay. Cool.
So if you think about imbalance and liquidity as I would say liquidity is like a fuel. You just never know whether that fuel is going to make it continue on or reverse.
Yeah.
And imbalance is, what's the best way I could sort of think of that? Imbalance is, it's almost like a stopper. It's always imbalance will although it's a draw on liquidity, so it's always what price is going always want to go into target the same, like imbalance and liquidity. It's going to want to target them both, but
Yeah.
imbalances, because obviously I believe that imbalance fills are the main building block of the markets that we view and how we trade them as such. So if you've got this here, which looks like on the 4 hour is pretty much an equal high, you've got imbalance directly above it, and yeah, it's always going to possibly
Go higher than that.
use this as inducement almost, because people will
Yeah.
sell
Yeah.
from here directly, but
Yeah.
you obviously you're just trying to stack more things in your favor. So
Yeah.
like I say, I mean, I might have had it marked up myself because you never know. But if it had tapped it
Yeah.
15
Yeah.
minute and then 1 minute, then you're a
Yeah.
goer. But
Yeah.
just be aware that, like you say, if you've got that directly above you, I mean, if you was taking an entry off this, I would say at least wait for a reaction out of
Oh, well,
the
that's the
one
thing.
above it.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, it's just marking out the the 4 hour POIs,
Yeah.
and then 15s and ones. I think obviously I might have had one or two trades out
Yeah.
of it so far. One of
Yeah.
them, obviously, I think you know about, and you asked me if I took it, and I was like, yeah, I took that one.
Yeah.
That was a while ago, right? But yeah, I think I've only had like two trades.
Yeah.
I think I just gotta be a bit more confident on the getting the 4 hour POIs, I reckon.
Yeah. Well, what I would say, mate, is like your 4 hour POI can be pretty much anything. So it can be,
Yeah.
like I say, obviously you mark that zone up, mark the one above it, mark this here if you wanted to, but
Oh,
just
okay.
it can be anything. But you're more probable, say, at the top of a range.
Yes.
If it's swept liquidity, yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah.
let me just draw a GAN box, mate, so we can do it that. So I'll do it from there because we've got stuff in the way. So for me, I would say anything in this middle 50% is pretty much danger land on a
Okay.
range. So up here, you're extremely in the I can't remember if to call it discount or whatever the other one is. I don't use that as a terminology, but if price is going to come back up into this last quarter, like 25%, it's either got to sell off if it's obviously part of structure and you've had all your confirmations and things like that, sweeps, everything like that, or it's going to take a lot of banks to step in and buyers to break
To
that
carry
zone.
on.
So
Yeah, fine.
whereas this middle ground, anything can happen. It can break structures. It can create liquidity.
Yeah,
you know?
I get you.
So
Yeah,
this is dodgy territory. I'm not saying I
yeah.
don't
We
take
just
trades from them, but like if you're
shorter
taking
trades.
if you're taking a trade from here, it can come back up to here before it continues down, or it can come down before going up. So at the top and bottom, it's either got a break structure, and which is probably a lot of money for the banks, or it can just tap a little 1 minute somewhere up here and then continue long the way structure is. So there's no money coming in from the banks to sort of like force the market in the other way. And yes,
Well, I guess that's kind of like what
sensitive.
you've done on the right hand side. Though you can see like an entry box.
Yeah.
But it's a smaller TP
Well,
compared to.
So obviously from here, this would have possibly been me POI here, me red one, maybe a little 15. I don't.
So would you have a different what's that box called?
GAN box.
Yeah, would you have a different GAN box for that one then? Would you have had that set at say your POI roughly, that the one that we were just talking about just then?
Well,
would you have
no,
that down to where that blue line
I
is?
don't normally use the GAN box that much, to be fair, mate. It's more just to show you that like up here is
the danger zone.
Up here is better for selling, down here is better for buying, sort of thing. As long as things are in your favour, structures and sweeps and things like that, manipulations. Like I say, you can sell from here, but if ultimately you're trying to head up for this zone here, like that's a sell. I mean, it's a good sell. It's nearly 56 RR, but but it's not. You're not going to go. Well, that's going to go all this way because it's in the middle and you've got targets both sides. It might want to come for either. Once it's come and took all the liquidity up here and done its thing, if the only target's down here, that's where it's targeting. That's where you would sort of expect
with that, say that 60 RR.
Yes,
what would you have done? Would you have just let that run until you think it's at its like bottom, or would you have set a TP on that?
I would have,
because obviously, I guess, would you have gone less than that or more than that?
I mean, if we're dead honest, mate, we're never going to take full maximum amounts on risk to reward.
Okay.
Obviously, I always post them to show what's possible.
Potential,
yeah, the potential. So, but I would always say, like, if obviously, because this is, I don't know where it tagged me in. This is possibly a sell from this zone here, and then this is the zone. I can't remember what it was, or this might be the one here where it tags you in. Obviously, I've deleted my markings, but if I was in it, mate, then I would always sort of say, yeah, it'll be from this candle here, I think. Fair, so I think there would have been 2 sells on it, 2 possible entries. So the first one is, I would say you're going to target this imbalance here, because that's one of your structures, possibly, or it's a big impulse thing. So first thing I'll say is your first TP would be there. Obviously, you've got liquidities under here and sweeps and things. So you've got trend line there, 3 or 4 touches, sweep, tags you in. I would maybe say it would take some out of here because it might mitigate that sweep and then break to the upside, because liquidity sweeps and then are often followed by breaks of structure. So I would maybe say at least pay yourself a couple of R at that point, leave the rest to run. You'd be fairly confident it was maybe going here.
Yeah.
So you've got liquidities under here, equal lows. You've got possible trend lines. So I'd be going, possibly got something like that to target. Obviously, it sweeps that into that first TP that I marked. So there's multiple reasons why I would say set your TPs here.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You've got equal lows under here again. And then you've got this big, massive impulse down here, which is probably what it turns around from. Let's go with that. Assuming it tags something like that. Yeah, fills that imbalance there straight away and then obviously reverses. So I would always recommend taking TPs at very like prominent zones. So yeah, you might have taken, we'll look at that. So your first one, like I said, I think would have been 11R, maybe take 2 off, let some run. 26, 27-ish, take some out of there. Because obviously it could hit these points and reverse. And then obviously you're targeting equal those under here sort of thing for this imbalance fill. So it's just, yeah. I think once you, because it's obviously there was nice targets on that one, so it's one of them that you might leave to run a bit further to be a bit more brave with it, I guess.
What are you thinking on the first TP? Like 80%, 70%?
Yeah. So my general rule is, mate, is at 12R. I generally like to take 2 off, so I've paid myself. I've got my risk back. I'll go break even, and I've still got a decent amount to run with.
Yeah.
So I'm not a. I think mathematically, because obviously my system shows these big runs. I mean, that's 223 pips.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's a fairly big push, but my system allows for the bigger runs. So, and if I take 50% off, then mathematically, I don't like the fact that I'd be holding for so long for half running as such. So
that's like what I was thinking, because you start taking.
So I'm just gonna just interrupt you, mate. It might cut us off any second. So, but obviously we carry on. Sorry, I just wanted to let you know in case it goes.
Yeah, because if you I know obviously it's good taking profits where you can and stuff.
Yeah.
But obviously with the long strategy, you are trying to obviously get as much money out